There are literally thousands of ETFs on the market, and as a beginner investor, it can be overwhelming when you're trying to decide where to start with your investing journey. In today's video, I'm going to share with you which ETFs I'm buying in order to build up my asset allocation, and we're going to use a great tool called Passive in order to do it. But before we do that, we're going to look at the metrics and see how the account is performing. We're going to buy the stocks that I talked about, and we're going to look at the dividends that I earned since the last video that I posted. My name's Darren. This is the Crazy Canuck Investor, where I try to make investing a little bit easier for beginners. Because let's face it, there's nothing that gets you ready for the first day of your investing journey. And I'm going to do that by sharing my journey and all the ups and downs along the way. Now let's start off with a Netflix recommendation. The series is called A Man in Full, and it stars Jeff Daniels. Jeff Daniels plays a real estate tycoon who's about to have his company go bankrupt in Georgia. Now, this is a marked departure from his part that he played in Dumb and Dumber. My wife and I are 3 episodes into things, and we are hooked already and can't wait for the next episode. So if you're interested, jump over to Netflix and check out A Man in Full. All right, now the entire portfolio is up to $138,394. And yes, that's correct. It is down slightly from last week's video. Last week it was at $138,550. Now that's not to be much of a surprise because markets go up and markets go down. This is where you have to weather the storm and why you're in things for the long term. Now my account is broken up into 4 separate accounts, so we're going to go through each of those. I have a cash account, I have my kids' RESP, I have my RRSP, and I have my TFSA. So let's go through each one of those and we'll break them down step by step. All right, so my cash account is up to $32,760, or shall I say down. If you were watching my videos from last week, you'll know that it was sitting around $36,000. But here's the thing, my wife and I are moving from the big bank to Wealthsimple, and this process is taking a little bit longer than I had anticipated. And so what we're trying to do is take advantage of credit card points that we have with our big bank. Now, my cash account pays 4.5% interest, and the next step in our journey is to have our paycheck, or at least one of my paychecks, deposited into that account. And by doing so, what will happen is we'll be able to increase that interest rate to 5%. And as it stands, we're going to start using this as our regular bank account in order to take advantage of that interest rate. My kids' RESP is a robo account. We pay a small fee in order to do it because Wealthsimple doesn't allow DIY just yet, but when it does, I'll probably switch it. It's up to $62,710. It is up to 14% over the last year, is the best performing. That's $7,700, so not too bad. We put in $200 every other paycheck, and that money is automatically invested into a bunch of different ETFs. You can see them here. We have GLOV, QCN, QUU, ZEA, and right now I have it set for 90% equity. Actually, I had it set for 100%, but Wealthsimple only allows for 90% full equity. Jumping over to my RRSP, it's up to $16,735, and over the last day, it's up $28 or 0.17%. Over the last week, it's up $544 or 3%. And over the last 3 months, it's up $740 or 11%. And over the last year, it's up $1,600 or 11%. And all-time returns on this account, it's up $1,653 or 10%. So right now we have $41 in US funds and $24 in Canadian funds. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to convert the Canadian funds over to US funds. And yes, I do get hit with that 1.5% conversion fee, but there is no way for me to convert the money once it's already in the account. We end up with about $17 in US funds. And in total, that gives us $59 in US funds in order to invest. Not a great deal, so we're just going to go ahead and we're going to make a fractional purchase. And the ETF that we're going to be purchasing is AVDV. And like I said, it is a fractional purchase, so it won't go through right away. It'll go through somewhere towards the end of the trading day. Now let's jump over into my TFSA. That's up to $26,019. Over the last day, it's down $33. Over the last week, it's up $644 or about 2%. Over the last month, it's up $66 or 0.26%. Over the last 3 months, it's up $976 or 3%. Over the last year, it's up $2,557 or 10%. And all time, it's up $2,561, still 10%, very close to 11. So currently we have $77.19 in dividends that are sitting in that account. Now let's look at the stock lending. I've been highlighting this because it's something that I turned on as a feature. This month I'll be earning 12 cents. So you can see it is growing considering I started off earning 1 cent. So we'll see how that works out over time. The next payday is in mid-May. I believe it's May the 14th. Yeah, you can see it on the screen there, May the 14th. So we'll get another small payout and we'll see if that continues to compound over time. Now at this point in the video, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank all the people that have used my link for Wealthsimple. If you look in the description below, and I'll actually put it up here on the screen, I have a link that you can use if you're just getting started with Wealthsimple and you're brand new. By using the link, you're going to get some money in your account and I get a little kickback as well. It's a great way to support the channel and get yourself started investing. The other thing to keep in mind is that we are going to be using passive, and I also have a link in the description below. So make sure you read the description below because there's lots of good detail down there. So thanks to everybody that's used that link leading up to today. All right, so the first thing we need to do is we need to put some money into the account to trade with. And of late, that's been $1,000 every 2 weeks. So we'll go ahead and deposit that with the magic of editing. And just like that, we have $1,000 in our account. So we're gonna go ahead and invest that $1,000. And we're gonna be using passive in order to guide us through this process. All right, so we can see that right now the accuracy of this portfolio based on my asset allocation is 86%. And we're going to look at what passive is suggesting that we buy. So based on the asset allocation that I set up, it's suggesting that we buy 3 shares of Plaza REIT and we should buy 38 shares of XEC. This was a new ETF that I introduced into my portfolio this week. And we're going to strive to ensure that we're meeting the targets, which is my asset allocation. And if you're not sure what that is, I did do a video. I'll throw it up here on the screen. You can go check it out in my playlist to see what asset allocation is all about. Now I noticed that TELUS is actually trading at a lower rate right now. And while I don't really want to buy any single stock positions, when I first started investing, I did start investing into 3 and then I added a 4th single stock position. Now I'm a customer of TELUS, and so as a result, we did start investing in them. I don't have a great deal of money invested in it, and according to my asset allocation that I've set up, I'm a little overweighted, but because it's on sale, I would like to pick up a few more shares. So we're gonna go ahead and do that today. This is obviously not completely following the asset allocation that passive is suggesting to make purchases, but it's flexible, and so we can work through it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna buy 4 shares of TELUS. Now, once we've purchased those TELUS shares, that decreases the amount of money that's available in the account. So the next thing we do is we jump back over into passive and we refresh the screen, and passive will automatically figure out what it is that we should purchase based on the amount of money that's available in the account. So we can see that passive is now suggesting that we purchase 1 share of Plaza REIT and 35 shares of XEF. Again, passive is an amazing tool. It's at your fingertips, and if you're a Questrade user, which I am, I get the account for free, which is fantastic. So now that we've chosen to purchase XEF, it's not actually a stock I own. We have to look it up. This is one of the features of searching for various securities within Wealthsimple. Once you find it, you select it like this, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to purchase the amount of shares that passive had suggested we buy, which in this case was 35 shares. And with the remaining funds, we're going to buy Plaza REIT, and we only have enough for 1 share. Now, after purchasing all of those securities within my portfolio, we have $2.80 left. And with that, if you've been following me for a while, that last little bit, I just throw into QQC, which is the NASDAQ 100. So we're just going to do a quick fractional purchase of QQC. So there you go. Those are all the purchases that we made this week. And the last thing we'll cover off is some of the dividends that we've earned since the last video that I posted. All right, so here we are in passive, and the beauty of passive is that you can look at various different metrics. Today, I'm looking at the dividends that we've earned since the last video I posted. So I've used a custom search tool looking at April 29th to May the 13th. And the other thing is, if you've watched some of my videos recently, I actually showed my entire portfolio. But on my regular videos, I'm only showing my RRSP and my TFSA, and then I said I would do a monthly update on everything at the end of the month. So here we are, we're looking at the last 2 weeks of my TFSA and my RRSP. And what we're going to look at is down at the bottom here, all of the dividends. And it shows it in a nice graph. So if you're into graphs, you can see the total dividends earned are $1,600. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go over to activity. So what activity does is it shows all the transactions that you've completed in that period of time that you've selected. So we're going to go back to the 30th and we're going to go over each one of them. So TRP paid out $13.44, TD paid out $13.26, XEI $10.15. Now I have XEI in both my RRSP and my TFSA, so you can see in my RRSP it paid out $11.31. QQQY paid out $39.50. HYLDU paid out $2.07. And then HYLD paid out $10.90. I hold both of those covered calls. I hold one in US funds and one in Canadian funds. And then REI paid out 28 cents. Now, one thing I've noticed about passive is that it doesn't add together the manufactured dividend. Now, if you remember, I have my stock lending turned on. So what it does is when I loan out those shares, then Wealthsimple will turn around and give me a credit for the dividend. Now, REI pays out more than 28 cents for me, so it doesn't seem to track that right now, and I can't figure out why. But needless to say, when the total dividend is paid into my account, I actually see the total. For some reason, passive doesn't pick up that manufactured dividend. VRE paid out $2.82, and then again, you can see VRE paying out 47 cents in my RRSP. And the last one that paid out was Tesla, which is $10.85. All right, folks, it is late at night. As you can see, my shooting schedule did not go according to plan. If you check it out, you can see the background slightly different. I apologize. It is what it is. As you've noticed in the past, much like probably a lot of you, I'm a father, I have a family, so I do this on the side, and I don't want to inconvenience my family if I don't have to. And obviously today, my shooting schedule ran into my family schedule. And by the way, hopefully everybody had a chance to spend some time with their mothers on Mother's Day. We had a fantastic day at our house with my wife and my mom, who actually happens to live close by, so that was fantastic. Hopefully you guys got to do the same thing. I also want to take the opportunity to thank everybody for making this far in the video. It seems that I do have a regular group of people that are actually following me from video to video. So thanks very much for doing that. Just like I thank people for, checking out and using the video links in the description below. Make sure you read those down below. If you are looking to support the channel, I do have a new link down below for Buy Me a Coffee. My schedule and time that I invest in this is a fair bit. It does take quite a bit to both shoot the videos and edit them. So if you want to buy me a coffee and get me through that schedule, that would be fantastic. So thanks very much for watching again. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. And if you want to share it with other people so we can get other beginners, help them out, that would be great too. And we'll see you in the next video.